Hello everybody, it's Dr. V. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do kind of a what's going on behind the scenes reading today. And before I get started, I have a few announcements to make, so I'll make it quick, just bear with me. The first thing is that the Long Beach event is just about, a little over a week away, and there's still a couple seats remaining. So if you want to get in on that, please head over to my scheduling site and get your registration. Once it's sold out, it's sold out. I'm not sure when I'll be back in the area. So if you've been hesitating, or you want to go and you just haven't been able to get registered, make sure you head over and do that ASAP before it's sold out. The second thing, and I'm super excited about this, I just opened up registration for an event in Denver on April 20th from 11 to 3 p.m. at Goddess Isis Metaphysical Store. It's a 4-hour program, so it's a lot longer and it'll be more intense and a lot more really positive work being done. So if you're in Colorado or nearby and would like to attend that workshop, that information is also available in the description box below, or so you can see where it says schedule or register for events or book a reading, I think is the area that you can book. So those are really exciting developments. I'm super stoked and I'm ready to just kind of see what magic is created there. The next thing I want to say is that I am doing a live chat tonight, question and answer. So I'll start off with a quick reading, just kind of check into the energies, and then then I'll take personal questions from people. I did that last week and everybody seemed to really like it, so I'm going to do it again. So here's the thing. I do try to answer as many questions as I possibly can, but the chat moves really fast, and so I'm not able to get to them. So how a lot of people ensure that their questions get answered is they utilize what's called the super chat function. I believe there's like a $sign at the bottom of the chat, and you can make a donation, and then it pins your comment to the top or your question to the top so I can see it, and then I can answer it. It gets highlighted so I don't miss any of them. So that's the one way to guarantee that your question will get answered if you have something that you want to have answered. But what I will ask is that if you do choose to participate in that you limit your questions to just one question. And that means like one question like, what is on my, what's in my counterpart's energy? Not what are they thinking and feeling, because that's two questions. And then only ask once, okay? Because otherwise, it can get to be where some people monopolize the time, and I just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to have their question answered. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the reading. I am using the Celtic Wisdom Tarot by Caitlin Matthews. I've only used this deck once before in a reading on the channel. But I actually had a dream about this deck last night, and so clearly something wanting to come through with this. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. I call upon my ancestors, divine wisdom, higher life, to be with me, to guide these messages, protect this energy, the listener, and the person for whom they're listening. And so it is. All right, so let's just dive in. Spirit, some information, please. We want to know what's going on behind the scenes. So this is what's happening with the person that you're thinking about, but maybe they're not telling you, or maybe is not being exposed. Oh, and one more thing. The Facebook group, if you want to join it, it's Love Revolution. Go ahead and click the link. That's also in the description box. You can join that if you'd like to. Please do not click the Love Revolution with Dr. V private coaching group unless you are a client that's in the private coaching group, because then I'll just have to decline your request, and then you might be like, why did she decline me? The group name that's not for members only is the Love Revolution. That's it. That's the group that you want to be clicking on. So anyway, moving on. What is the current energy of the person for whom you're listening? Interesting. So we've got the Mingler. I'm just going to stop right there. I was going to pull a couple more, but I'm just going to start here. The Mingler is temperance. okay, in the traditional tarot. This is a card of somebody who really wants to come into a space of balance. This is a card of somebody that is, their current energy is really recognizing some of the ways that they've maybe been out of balance, been out of whack, where their energy has not been in alignment, where they have behaved in ways that were out of integrity, or they weren't living their truth. They've been out of balance. This could be somebody that maybe is overindulging in things like substances, or just really not being present with them, with their energies. They may be super distracted and putting in a ton of time into things like social media, or working too much and not spending enough time with family or taking care of themselves. But what this is really saying to me is that they're really recognizing that that energy is lacking, that they can't go forward in the way that they want to go forward until they come into a state of inner union and balance within. So they're really aware of that. They're really conscious, and at least in their higher realms and their wisdom is really aware of it, that it's not something that they're able to even really hide anymore from themselves. They're wanting to get into a space of moderation. They want to be in a space of really having a sense of inner harmony. This is what I'm really getting strongly, is that this is the person that you're listening for has had a lot of conflict internally for a long time, and they're really wanting to move through that energy and move into a different space. Now, whether they're going to make the decisions to do that remains to be seen. We'll pull some more cards to get clarity on that. But it's very interesting that this is present, because a lot of people have been feeling more and more pulled toward union and inner union, and coming to a sense of peace, and recognizing that sometimes we have to release the things that we most desire in order to magnetize them back to ourselves. And so I almost get the sense that for those of you that have, I don't want to say almost get the sense, I get the sense strongly that for a lot of you who have been working on healing attachments to this connection and releasing your expectations and allowing things to kind of take shape the way that they want to take shape, I feel like that's actually pulling them closer toward wanting to come into their own inner union, because they're recognizing just how out of whack they've been. So let's move this aside and let's look at what it is that they're not telling you. That's kind of funny, right? Because the first card that comes out is Dialogue of Skill. The next card, Dialogue of Battle. You've got to be kidding me. Look at that, you guys. 2, 2, and King of Art. Beautiful. So the dialogue of this, why I say this is beautiful is because this is a very balanced energy. So we have 2 here, and then we have the King of Art. So we've got basically cups, wands, and cups, swords, and wands all at the same time. So what I'm seeing is that overall, like what they're not telling you is there's a lot that they're not telling you. There's a lot that they're keeping, they're playing their cards close to their chest right now. Dialogue of Skill, this would be the 2 of Wands in the traditional tarot. This would be an energy of really wanting to collaborate and be in balance, and feeling more confident, and feeling more like you're in alignment with somebody else. This is a card that I always see this one as being like a very co-creative and collaborative type of energy. Desiring a successful endeavors. This is an energy of what they're saying here is like, I really want this success. I really want to be more equal. I want to be more balanced, as we saw with the Temperance card earlier. I want to feel a sense of personal achievement. These are all the things that I want to feel, and I don't feel it yet. This is what they're not telling you. I desire that. I want to feel that. I want to experience that, but it's just not there yet. Part of why they may not be like coming forward towards you is that they may not feel like they have the success or the what they think you need or deserve. Okay, that's not to say that they feel like they want to be like your caretaker or your anything like that, but they don't feel like they have what it takes to really even be in your presence and to stand in, because you're in, you've worked really hard to get into your divinity and standing your ground as a sacred being. Well, if they're not there and they haven't done their part, there's no way that they recognize that they're not going to be able to come towards you. one of the analogies that I always use, and you've probably heard me say this before, it's that like when you create your own, like your body, and you treat yourself as sacred, that you don't want people with muddy boots coming into your temple, which is your, your space in your body. And what this is saying to me is what they're trying to convey is like, I recognize that there's still some mud on my boots that I need to clear off, and I want to get in that space before I come forward. That's really what they're trying to build their own confidence. And so the dialogue of battle is like the Two of Swords. So this is a card of being at odds, being unable to go forward, not really knowing what direction to go in. If you think about the Two of Swords in the traditional tarot, it's a woman depicted with two swords crossing her and a blindfold on. And so this is what they're not telling you is that it's not that I don't want to move forward, it's not that I don't have the desire to move forward, but I literally feel like I can't move forward. I feel like I'm stuck, like I can't see where I'm going. My right foot is crossing my left, and I feel like if I take any kind of step, I'm going to just stumble and fall flat on my face. They are really looking at wanting to have some reconciliation. In this particular deck, this card talks about reconciliation and coming back and making peace. I've been feeling that a lot. That's come through quite a bit in the readings. This is about taking the time to review one's actions and resolving conflict with others. This is seeing the way that this card is in this particular, it's like seeing the other person's side of it. So what they're not telling you right now is that whether they have acknowledged that to you or whether they have said anything to you, they're actually starting to see things from your perspective. Excuse me while I take a sip. They're starting to see things through your eyes, which is giving them a lot more compassion, and it possibly is contributing to these feelings of not feeling like they're clean enough to come back toward you and to like really make any offer or any kind of communication, because now that they're seeing it from your perspective, now they're looking at it and like, well, how would I have responded if I were in that situation? Would I have responded the same way? Would I have done things differently? And what they're recognizing is that maybe some of how you responded was a direct reaction to what they were doing. So I feel like they're just really in this space of recognizing that their hands weren't entirely clean in the situation. They might have been playing the victim for a while, but now they're recognizing that their hands weren't clean, and they're thinking about reconciling and making peace with the situation. And then we have the King of Art, which is the King of Cups. The King of Cups is like emotional stability, maturity. This is about really being a person who is able to like stand on your own 2 feet and really be grounded and really be open-hearted, because we don't want somebody who's like super grounded but unemotional, right? We want somebody that's able to tap into their feelings. So what this is saying to me is that this person has really considered and started working on growing and maturing into a more spiritual, more conscious, more creative person. They're really starting to build up their own emotional capacity, because we have those are skills, right? Just like any other skill. People think that like emotional maturity is something that you just develop overnight or because you start to grow, and that's not true. There are 70-year-olds that behave like children, so age is not necessarily indicative of maturity. It's practicing. It's learning skills. I'm thinking about how people will say, I've had people say to me before about that I'm a strong communicator, and I'm like, well, yeah, because I studied it. Like that's what I do. That's what I wasn't born learning how to communicate. I went to grad school and I learned how to communicate, and I took classes and I went to therapy and I did all of these things and I learned how to do that. So what I'm seeing here is that this person that you're listening for is starting to recognize that they need to participate in their own growth and their own capacity and their own emotional maturity. This is about learning that if they're constantly, what is that saying? How will you be polished if you're irritated by every rub. I think that's a Rumi quote. And this is recognizing that they're recognizing that they can't continue to sit here and be like irritated by every little thing that comes their way, every little thing that happens. That sometimes they have to learn how to be mature and grow and be non-reactive. So that's really what they're not telling you, is that they are recognizing their own need to grow and come into a different space in the way that they're showing up in the world. So let's move this aside. Now this is interesting because I really feel that there's some people that you're dealing with that part of why they're not coming forward is because they feel some shame. So I want to pull some cards on what it is that they're ashamed of. Wow. So we've got the Soul, the Combat of Skill, and the Balancer. Absolutely amazing. Okay, do you guys like these cards, by the way? Let me know if you do. I bought them a while back and I just used them a couple of times, and then I have so many that I kind of put them aside. But anyway, so part of what they're ashamed of is this is the Soul is the Fool card in the traditional tarot. So part of what they're afraid, what they feel some shame about, is that they had an opportunity to have a fresh start. So you may have given them an opportunity to have a fresh start. You may have offered them and I'm not saying necessarily with you, well, yeah, with you, but you also gave them the opportunity to, maybe they were caught in a cycle. Okay, so what's coming through is that some of them were caught in cycles. Some of them were caught in an energy of being like, being karmic cycles. Okay, that's what it is. Sorry, it took me a minute to get the message. So it was karmic cycles. A lot of them were in karmic cycles with karmic partners or other people, just karmic energy, things that were patterns, things that were not healthy, things that were not helping them to move forward in life. And so you came in and you offered them a fresh start. You were like, look, you don't have to continue doing this. You don't have to continue living your life this way. Here's another way. Let me show you. And you kind of opened an opportunity, like shined a light in the forest and said, you don't have to continue going down this path of destruction. You can choose another way. And I'm showing you the way, and moreover, I'll be with you along the way so that you don't feel alone. So you're not stuck and you're not kind of going through this alone. So you offered that to them. You presented them an opportunity to get off the merry-go-round of their same old bullshit, and they chose to go sit back in the pile of shit that they've been sitting in. Okay, that's just what it is. That's the way it's coming through. It's like you gave them an opportunity and they chose to go like put their shitty diaper back on, and they're ashamed of that, because they understand that they had an opportunity to get free, and they may be caught up now. They may be caught up in some other type of energies or other situations, like maybe they feel even more bound by the situation that they're in now. A message came through last week about people possibly having pregnancies or faking pregnancies. There were a bunch of comments about that. So it could really be that they're like, man, I had an opportunity to get out of this situation, and now here I am stuck even further. Because this combat of will, this is the combat of skill, is the Five of Wands in the traditional tarot. This is inner conflict. This is those dragons wrestling internally. They are ashamed. That's something that's actually holding them back, is their sense of shame, because they're like, I contributed to this. This was me. I did this. This is nobody else's fault. It was my own inner conflict. It was my own inner bullshit that kept me from being able to move forward and to take this leap of faith, this new beginning that was offered to me. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't go in that direction, and I made other choices. And so there's a lot of still inner conflict that they feel. There's, on the one hand, trying to do the right thing and trying to be the person that people expect them to be, and so on and so forth. And then there's the wanting to follow my heart and do what I want to do. And so then we have, this is so interesting to me, because we have the Balancer. Okay, now this is the Justice card, Strength card, and some different decks have different cards, but this is like the Strength card. And with the Balancer, the way that this card is described in this particular deck, excuse me, is about equity, justice, receiving what they get. Like this is kind of, to me, I read this card as karma. Okay, part of what they're ashamed of is that they created negative karma because of their choices and the actions that they decided to take. Now, you know, we all have to learn our lessons, and so I'm not an advocate of shame. Like, if people, shame is a very toxic emotion, and I hope that the person that you're listening for can really heal that and move through it, because there's no productivity in shame. You know, guilt is when it's a normal feeling that we feel when we do something that is wrong, and it's like an indicator of your conscience telling you, yeah, that was a bad move, you might want to correct that. That's a healthy emotion. Shame is believing that there's something wrong with you, okay? That it's not being able to separate the actions from the person. And so that's something that I hope that this person is able to move through. But they really do feel that whatever is happening in their life right now, that they deserve it because of who they've been and the choices that they've made. And so they're feeling like they're kind of getting what's due them, okay? They're reaping what they sow. They can't even, if their life is like, you know, shitty right now, or there's things that aren't going great, or they're feeling down and out, it's like they're almost punishing themselves. It's like, to a certain extent, some of them are like, you know, paying penance. And, well, I did all these shitty things in my life, so I just deserve to be in this crappy situation. I don't deserve to move forward. This is what I get. This is what I deserve. And really, you know, kind of a sad energy that I'm feeling for them. But there's also is a piece that is wanting to bring closure to karmic cycles and to get some justice. So like I said earlier, there was a card that came through. Which one was it? The dialogue of battle, right? Of wanting to have like reconciliation and reaching some peace and taking accountability for actions. So they could really be thinking right now with this card about giving justice. If you feel like they denied justice in the past, if you feel like they just kind of got away scot-free with whatever it was that they were doing and they didn't have to deal with anything, and you've been the one kind of having to suck it up, you know, a lot of them are recognizing that that's not fair. What they did was not fair. How they treated you, how they handled things was not right. And so, so they're trying to figure out if there's a way that they can balance those karmic scales and get back to like ground zero. So, very interesting reading. What's going on in their shadow space? So we have the renewer, the mover, and the king of battle. So a lot of big energies here. Again, major arcana. They're dealing with a lot right now. That's just what it is. Okay, they're dealing with a lot right now, because this is what these energies are saying, is that there's some stuff that's coming up that needs to be healed. Plain and simple. The renewer is judgment card. This is renewal, rebirth. Easy for me to say, right? Renewal, rebirth, resurrection type of energy. This is going through a major transformation. Bringing resolution to matters, bringing things to a close. This is a card of releasing and forgiving and freedom, to act with, to live your life with integrity. So part of what's going on in their shadow space is that they recognize that if they're going to live their life in any way, shape, or form, with integrity, with freedom, because there is no freedom in secrets, guys. That is just the truth, okay? There is no freedom in toxicity, in secrets and lies and so on and so forth. There is no freedom. And so part of what they're recognizing is like, look, if I want to move forward and have some freedom and have some, you know, something positive coming forward in my life going forward, I'm going to have to step up and like balance these karmic scales, you know, give the, you know, balance the scales, give the justice that has been denied, take accountability for my shit, own, you know, my life and the choices that I've made, but come clean and get clear so that I can move things forward. That's what they're starting to recognize here, is that there is no way that they can move forward in any way, shape, or form with peace until there is this rebirth and this regeneration that happens. And so in their shadow space, the Chariot, this is what the Chariot would be in the traditional tarot. This card is literally saying, They want to have this triumph, but they also know that in order to have the triumph, in order to be able to move things forward, that there's some truth and reconciliation that has to happen. And they're kind of avoiding it because they don't want to deal with it. A lot of them are just trying to not face it. They're really starting to understand that they are also responsible for their own circumstances. That, like, I keep hearing this, like, almost like a victim energy where people were, like, feeling, like, playing the victim, like they blamed everything on you, and they were like, it's all your fault that this happened, and didn't take a whole lot of accountability for their own actions or the pain that they caused. And they're recognizing now that they do contribute and have an element of control over their lives and what happens in their life. And if they don't own their shit and really recognize that it's going to continue to keep them stuck. And so, very interesting energies here, because I feel like this person is, again, like, sort of how it was with the, what was it, the inner conflict, that five of wands that came up earlier. That's what I'm seeing here too, is that just still inner conflict energies of wanting to move things forward, but recognizing that in order to do that, there's going to have to be some accountability and some reckoning that takes place, and they may not be wanting to do that yet. So the King of Battle is about being upright and having authority, but having integrity with that authority, wielding your power responsibly. This is somebody who's like, you don't want to be one of those people that gets into a position. I'm trying to think of people that, well, I'm not going to name anybody, but I'm thinking of people who are like, get advanced into leadership positions, and they get a public profile, or they do things, and people start to look at them and see them as like an authority, and then but they're not truly that. Like, they have too many secrets and too many things, like skeletons in the closet, or they're currently behaving in ways that are out of integrity and alignment, and then the secrets come out, and then like the whole house of cards comes falling down. So part of what they're recognizing and dealing with right now is that they don't want to be the type of person that is in a place that their charisma takes them, that their character can't keep them. And so they're really trying to, in their shadow space, they're really trying to reconcile. How do I reconcile that? How do I become this person that is able to be confident in my authority, that I know that I'm not going to have ghosts from my past popping up to like haunt me later? How do I know, like, how do I create the type of life? And what that is saying is that there is some truth telling, there is some revealing that needs to happen for this person to be able to do that. And it's something that they're a little bit hesitant to face up and deal with right now. They are, they're really wanting to, They really want the way that they are internally to match their external projection. And they're recognizing that in order for that to happen, they're going to have to make some shifts. And that's something that's pretty scary for them, okay? So that's why it's in the shadow. I hope you're liking this reading so far. It's very insightful to me. So what is their intention going forward? So we've got the foundation of battle. Oh, wow. Interesting. So the foundation of battle, this would be equivalent to the Six of Swords in the traditional tarot. The Six of Swords is a card of being between spaces. This is in the person in the boat traveling. It's like a woman and child and like a ferryman traveling. So this is about, what I get really, really, really clear is that their intention is to make those changes, okay? They are making those changes. It's slow. They're traveling. If this was like, if we're doing like metaphorical images, they're in the boat, they're traveling. It's already been set into motion. The changes that needed to be made, the things that needed to happen have already been set into motion. And so they are, it's already going. It's just, it might take some time. So their intention is to change and to go along in this transformation and to do the things that are necessary to move from point A to point B. they really understand that that is a necessary part, and they want to be that. Again, it's like, this is not somebody who is just like avoiding it completely. They really do want to live and be in alignment and feel confident in who they are and how they show up in the world, and so on and so forth. And so that's what's happening. What their true intention is to go with the flow and allow this to happen. They may not, again, keeping in mind that sometimes just because their intention is to go with the flow, they might be resistant right now. They might be fighting it, kicking and screaming all the way, but that doesn't mean that their intention isn't such that they want to shift, okay? So we have the Queen of Knowledge, Queen of Pentacles. This is about being dignified, being generous, prosperity, living a life of luxury and abundance and security and stability, and being steadfast and solid and grounded. And so their intention really is truly to become that person. They really want to become the person. It's like, you know those memes that go around like, be the person that your dog thinks you are? It's like they want to actually be that. They're like, I want to actually be that. I don't want to just be what people think I am. I don't want to put out this image of everything is great and everything is awesome, knowing that I have all these like secrets and things that I've done in the past that have been out of alignment, out of integrity, that can come back to bite me later. I want to be secure and solid in my foundation going forward. I don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm trying to hide, or karmic lessons that I'm just waiting to catch up to me. They're really very clear that that is not what they want. They really want to clear the path and like clear karma and move things forward with integrity and wholeness. So I'm really liking this. And the dreamer is the star. In the traditional tarot, the star is an Aquarius. So if your person is an Aquarius, this may be particularly relevant to you. If they're not, don't worry about it. I just thought I'd throw it out there. So this is about still having some hopes and some dreams. So when I see this, is what I'm seeing is that their intention is that they really truly haven't given up hope on this situation, even on a relationship with you. There's still an element of developing hope and insight and healing, really wanting to get into that space of unconditional love, feeling more optimistic, having faith, and really believing in the beauty of their dreams and their aspirations, really taking the limits off of themselves that they've placed on themselves. And I feel like what that means is that they really, because they felt expansive with you, you might have been the only person in their life that really believed in their power and their dreams, and they want that back. They're like, I really want that energy back. I want to experience that again because it was really powerful and beautiful, and that's what I want. So, very beautiful. Let's look at their secret desires. Of course. So we've got the quest of knowledge. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, this is so awesome. Wow. Their secret desires, the quest of knowledge. This is like the Ten of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. That's the happy home, happy life, abundance, like everything is great, everything is stable, things are awesome. Then we have the revelation of art, which is the Nine of Cups, wishes fulfilled. That's what they want. Their secret desire is really to have that. And I can guarantee you right now that there are some people, some of the people that you're thinking of that are in karmic situations, and they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're never really going to have this Ten of Pentacles and this Nine of the revelation of art, the Nine of Cups, the wishes fulfilled in the situation that they're in, because that's not their person, and they know it. And that's what, and there's something that they may be in denial. They may not want to readily admit that, but at the end of the day, that's just what it is. And the sooner that they recognize that and acknowledge it and say, like, I'm never gonna be as fulfilled in this situation. If they're like in a karmic situation that they're struggling with, it's like they're someday eventually are going to have to recognize that they're never going to have this whole like dynamic here, wishes fulfilled, my happy home, happy life, where you're happy to come home and you're thrilled and you love your you love being with the person that you're with, and there's excitement and there's chemistry and there's joy and there's love. They realize that that's what they want, and that they're not going to get it where they're at. Now that's a hard thing to face for a lot of people. It may mean, if dealing with it and acknowledging it may mean massive changes and shifts in your life, and that's something that's hard for a lot of people. but they recognize, you know, their secret desire is to have that, and on a soul level, they know that they're not going to get it where they're at. Okay, so then we have the combative battle, and this is like, you know, this is about obviously a battle. It's about conquering. It's about destruction. This can be about like destruction of others, enemies, you know, really defeating, overcoming like battles and enemies and so on and so forth. This can be a card of just people that are like having a lot of conflict in their external world. So they really want that energy to stop, but they also want to be able to like go get out of any situations. So they want the external conflict to stop, but they also want to be able to conquer and defeat the enemies that they're dealing with, which may be enemies within, which may be things that they want to conquer. That's just it. They want to tap in, and they're recognizing that they have not been living their best life, and that they're kind of selling themselves short. And so they really want to change that, and they really want to shift that and move into a different type of energy. And that's really what is important to them. That's really what they want. Their secret desire is to be able to overcome and to move into this space of fulfillment and happiness. I love it. So what is it that they want you to know? I'm going to use this deck that I was just gifted by one of my viewers, Bonnie, thank you. And it's created by Kathy Benson. Let me see if I can get her website. I'll post it in the comments. But I'm just going to pull some cards. This is like a Twin Flame and Oracle deck, or Twin Flame Daily Meditation cards. That's what it is. And so I'm going to pull some from here, like what is it that they want you to know? So the first card that came out is Cage. It says, you may be wondering where your twin ends and you begin. Remember that you are perfect, complete, and whole child of the divine. So what I'm getting from this is that what they want you to know is that they still feel trapped in that cage, okay? They still feel trapped in the cage it's a cage that they made. I'm just going to be perfectly frank. That message came through very clearly earlier. This is a cage of, you know, a mental or physical cage that they created. They're in it because they chose to be in it. They had a path out, they had a way out, they had, you know, you came in and you offered them freedom, and they chose to stay stuck. But they want you to know that I'm acknowledging that I'm still stuck. I know I'm still in this cage, and you know, it is what it is. I can't see this one. Let me look over here. Okay, astral. Okay, this says, pay attention to the feelings and messages you're receiving from your twin in the astral plane. These are the most honest of missives as the ego is diminished in this area. So what they're saying to you, this is literally what they want you to know, is that they're sending you messages. I know some of you have asked, like, and people have asked in the Facebook group and in comments, how do you know if it's them? Well, if you're attuned and you're into your intuition and so on and so forth, you can start discerning the difference between your wishes and your intuition. But if you're getting messages or you've been feeling messages, really be cognizant of that, okay? So we have fire. Are passions running too high and you're feeling burned out? Write a letter to your twin explaining how you feel, and then burn it. So what I'm getting here, and what your message from your twin on this, what they want you to know, is that if you have any lingering or unresolved feelings or things that haven't come to a conclusion, it's really important to be able to do that. Write a letter, forgiveness, love letter, whatever it is, and then literally burn it. Okay, and I believe that they will receive those messages. I really they'll receive those messages, and you may receive messages back from them in the astral plane. Okay, so let's move this aside. And I'm going to use get some messages from them. Messages from their higher self to you. Or just messages from them, period. This is from the Talk to Me Like I'm Someone You Love deck by Nancy Dreyfus. So these are the messages that they have for you. What is it that they want you to name? You didn't do anything wrong. I know it's my own craziness. Trust me to get through it. Wow. Okay. I'm feeling very scared of you right now. So what that is saying to me is that they are feeling like if they were to come back to you and like come back and want to have a conversation, offer or something like that, that you would be like, no way, Jose. That you might be angry, that you might punish them. That's what they're feeling right now. Okay. And then it says, right now I don't need a lecture. I need your love. And so here's the thing. I know that this is very difficult, but you have to understand that they know they fucked up. Okay. That's just it. The person that I'm reading for, they know they fucked up. They know that they dropped the ball. They know that they did the wrong thing, and they feel very ashamed about it. And they're afraid that they'll come back. Like if they come back and reach out to you, that you're going to be like, lecturing them or making them feel even more ashamed than they already feel. And that's not what they want. They want to feel, unconditional love. And the unconditional love, again, does not mean that you just like take them back without any, if they haven't changed or haven't done anything different, or they're not willing to do the things to become whole and to, fix situations or to provide reparations for the harm that they caused. That's not what unconditional love is. But unconditional love is, I still love you even when you're messing up. Even when you messed up, even when you fucked up, I still love you. I still hold love in my heart for you. Now, I'm not going to like engage with you in certain ways if you haven't like shifted or changed your energy. Like I'm not going to like put myself in a situation where I'm hurt again. But what I am going to do is love you through it regardless. That doesn't mean that we're going to be intimate or that we're going to jump back into bed or that we're going to be in like a relationship. What it means is that I'll be here and I'll be by your side and I'll walk you through it every step of the way and I'll love you, but healthy with healthy boundaries. Okay. So I really, really like that. If you're feeling that kind of way, if you feel, resentment or bitterness towards your counterpart for how they behaved, it's going to be really important to release that energy so that they don't feel afraid anymore, so that they don't feel fearful, and that if they come back and they say, I just wanted to say I'm sorry and like what can I do to make it up to you, that you're able to accept that and move forward in peace and not want to punish them. Okay, so final message, and this is a message from your higher self to you, listener. And this is from the Earth Warriors Oracle by Alana Fairchild. It's Hayaka, Sorceress of Light. These cards are so beautiful. Let me grab the book. Okay. So this card says, no enemy shall defeat you, not by night, nor by day, nor upon the earth, nor in the soul. You are divinely protected and empowered. You shall fulfill your destiny with joy in your heart and laughter in your belly. Play, be in nature. Feel the freedom of happiness within you, even in this moment. Those are your sacred powers, and with them you shall take every step upon your journey successfully, and nothing shall thwart your divine destiny. So, this is Alana Fairchild, and her reading, like her interpretations are always super long. So let me just kind of, so Hayaka, goddess of Hawaii, watches over the sacred dancers of the hula and the arts of the chant, sorcery, and medicine. Hers is the medicine of light, sound, and the ability to penetrate the darkness of lower level consciousness, which could overwhelm our sense of spirit, joy, and inspiration with defeatism, despair, and boredom, or even terror. This type of onslaught from the darkness comes at certain times to those seeking to embody and enact the light on earth. One of those times may be when we're feeling strong and making progress, and we feel tested to sustain that higher level of being and awareness, even through challenge. Another of these times may be when we feel weaker, more vulnerable, perhaps fatigued from a challenging time, and just not quite able to summon the quality of play on our own. In all such moments, upon the Spirit Warrior's path of light, Hayaka assists. Okay, so if you've been feeling that, if you've been feeling kind of like you've had to battle some darkness and feeling a little bit like despairing, this is really important to call upon this this goddess to be able to transmute that energy and be the shining beacon of light to humanity that you're meant to be. So I hope that this reading was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully I'll see some of you on tonight at 8 o'clock. Take care. Bye.